President Cyril Ramaphosa has met with the security cluster to discuss the scourge of illegal mining. The meeting this weekend follows a week of violence in Riverlea, that's in Johannesburg. Police and JMPD officers have demolished structures where illegal miners are believed to be operating. And now that's as raids continue in that particular community after 5 people were killed last week in a suspected shootout between rival gangs of zamas. Locals have blamed the scourge of illegal mining on foreign nationals. Let's unpack all of this for you now. Bring in Sahlulele Luzipo, who is the chair of the Mineral Resources and Energy Committee in Parliament and joins us via our video link now. Great to have you on the program as always, sir. Thanks very much indeed for making time. I wonder if I can get as a start Parliament's response to what appears to be raids led in part by provincial and local municipality officials, as opposed to, I suppose, taking some kind of cue from national government about how to deal with this.
Good morning to you, and good morning to your viewership. I think we must first welcome the fact that what we have always been crying for as portfolio committees was that we need a comprehensive strategy of government. It will be very difficult at this stage. They usually say that one of the art of wars is that you don't demoralize your forces when they try to win the war by making criticisms of what they are doing. But I must say, from where I'm sitting, it will be quite nice that the tune can be followed of ensuring that there is a comprehensive strategy to deal with the scourge of illegal mining, particularly when it relates to violence. Obviously, we all know that there is what is called the devolution of powers. Some institutions may feel that there is a need to act, and we hope those initiatives, on their own will be able to yield the required results. But at this stage, I think let's allow all the processes to unfold, and hopefully they will yield the same results that we want to see within the space or within the sector of mining, which is highly implicated by acts of violence.
Yeah. In an ideal world, though, I suppose you'd want to have some kind of cohesion between these different stages of government, right? You'd want the president to be meeting with the security cluster, a plan to emerge from that, which is essentially followed through by the different spheres of government. And because there hasn't necessarily been a national strategic plan, some people might say, it's left this gap, which is now being filled by these officials who are carrying out raids sometimes in the full glare of cameras rolling on national television. I wonder if that brings up any kind of concerns for you, even just outside of security.
It may not necessarily be issue. We must also understand and be on the side of the people who are highly affected. The reality of the situation is that those communities that are affected by the effects of illegal mining, they are desperately in need of a solution, and not just a solution of today, but a solution of yesterday. Yes, I agree with you 100%. We would have highly appreciated that any intervention that is done, it is a coordinated work that is being done by all agencies of the state. But as I've said, that where am I to make such comments when people are highly affected by consequences of illegal mining? And at this stage, all what will be interested in is finding a solution. And unfortunately, also all those agencies, whether at a local or at a provincial level, they are making those interventions within the powers that are granted to them. And therefore, I would want to respect the fact that the system allows them to act in the manner that they are doing. As long as what you are doing, you are not doing it in order to get some particular mileage, not in favor of the benefit of the people. I hope also that the meeting of the president with all the security cluster will look at a comprehensive way. Let me give you an example, for instance. We all know that at the center of this crisis is the resourcing of some of the institutions of government. If you, for instance, were to come to a conclusion that you need to have a specialized unit of the police service, surely that 2 things you have to do. There has to be an embark upon a program that either utilizes the existing one, but increase the number of the police service so that where you take from, you don't then leave another gap in another area. So that will mean that you require resources, and therefore, at the center of this, it will be National Treasury. The Department of Finance must be able to come to board. If you were to increase and develop new ways of closure of holdings, obviously you will require now an increased budget dedicated specifically to that kind of an intervention that the state wants, and that can only be done if you are able to put the required resources. So I agree with you 100%. That strategy must also be a strategy that tomorrow I don't say as a responsible person, well, I could have done this. Unfortunately, my resources had to be diverted into dealing with the issue of illegal mining and its consequences.
Yeah, absolutely. This meeting, we're told, between the security cluster ministers and the president took place this weekend, but I'm sure you'll agree that a solution is needed as recently as yesterday, as urgently as yesterday. What kind of timelines does Parliament think are reasonable for the executive to come through with that national strategy so that we can finally get around to fixing this issue?
It is quite difficult, because one of the things that we've discovered ourselves as members of Parliament was that the manner in which we have been responding to the issue of illegal mining has been piecemeal. For an example, simply because at the core of it, the dispute which leads to violence are about territorial control as far as the areas of mining are concerned, obviously being conducted illegally. And therefore the belief would be that the Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources, it is their own responsibility. Mineral resources and energy, now, it is their responsibility to deal with this matter and not look on the issue of the criminal syndicate. It's almost the same thing that we've raised to say, if you look now in mining, there is also another new emerging criminal syndicate, whether it's about blocking the tracks, whether it's about taking over the systems of procurement. And we always say that there is a need, therefore, that when we tackle some of these issues, we don't become territorial or sectoral. And I think Parliament is beginning now to accept that the issue of illegal mining, and what else can we appreciate except that the intervention of the President actually responds to what we have said, to say the issue of illegal mining in this country is a national crisis, is a threat to national security. And such interventions obviously must take that into cognizance. I would say that if it were according to us, to us as legislators, we would appreciate that the issue of illegal mining, especially its effects, is addressed as soon as. But we can't say do it; it must come to an end by December this year. But we say that we must understand the urgency of the matter and the threat that it poses to society in general, and such intervention must long. We will appreciate that the intervention, therefore, that is led now is at the doors of the President.
Sure.
Would also be able to say, here are the short term, this is the long term strategy that we want to bring on board to end this matter.
Very well then. Sahlulele Luzipo, thanks as always for making time to speak to us. Appreciate your time on Newzroom Afrika. Sahlulele Luzipo is the chair of the Parliamentary Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy.